Hey everybody, it's Dr. Brenda, money coach and the creator of the Gutsy Women Club, where women dare to dream and take bold actions to follow their heart's journey. So I decided it was time to share some tips for working in an RV, working while you're traveling. So I've got 6 tips for you. Now I've been RVing since the end of May, and I work online, as many people do, and I know that there's some questions out there like how do I make that all happen? How do I build in some balance? And first of all, I think the idea of balance is a myth. You know, certain times you're working hard, certain times you're not, but it's not like every day is the same. And so that is certainly true. You have to be flexible. Now I have flexibility with when I do my work. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got my Gutsy Women Club, I have my Dream Big Money Academy, and both of those things give me a considerable amount of flexibility. So if you have flexibility in what you're doing, here's some advice for you, okay? So, number 1, work on the weekends or work when the parks are really busy. And so I typically stay at state parks, some national parks, and the weekends come along, Saturday and Sunday. It's a bit crazy, starting Friday night probably. And if I want to go out on the trails, I have to deal with crowds. If I want to go shopping, I deal with crowds. And so I have a tendency to be more likely to get a good amount of work accomplished a Friday, Saturday into Sunday. And my free time, my fun time, like Monday mornings in a campground are like absolutely the best. People are leaving Sunday, Monday mornings, and the campgrounds clear out, the trails clear out, and you get the place to yourself. It's a much different feel. So I'm more likely to do work on the weekends. So that's a tip number 1 is, you know, change what you think about the typical work schedule and make it work for what you do. Second tip, if it's sunny outside and I've got a beautiful day, I want to be outside. And so again, because I have flexibility, if I have a rainy, windy, cold day, those are the days that I am most likely to crank out a lot of work. So a lot of my work is weather driven, so that's your second tip, sort of work around the weather. The third tip is have a bunch of backups in terms of technology, and especially in connecting to the Wi-Fi. So I was spoiled. I had a rooftop system. I do have it. It's called GoTo. But I had a 1-year unlimited data plan with AT&T. It came with the package, and of course they've discontinued it. And so now there isn't another great option that's going to get me national coverage and with unlimited data. So I've just switched out for a plan that's capped at 100 gigabytes per month. And I'll tell you what, I'm using that data really quickly. So I have got to be more cognizant of using different sources. I'm at a campground, so it has Wi-Fi, so I'm on their part of the time. Sometimes I'm using my phone as a hotspot. I also have sort of, I guess, a burner phone that I don't pay a monthly fee. It's more of a pay-as-you-go, pay-as-you-use plan. But if I have to drive someplace, and I'm not going to drive my RV with the rooftop device, but if I have to drive someplace and I can still get to an AT&T cell, I should be able to get on Zoom. There are going to be times when I don't have access to the Wi-Fi, I don't have access to cell. Hopefully those times are limited. I check the campgrounds beforehand, so I really do look for the AT&T first, the Verizon second. So you've got to have multiple options, and hopefully if you have clients, they'll understand that sometimes you're going to have to postpone, delay, reschedule because your connection is not good. So that third tip is really having multiple sources, multiple backups for your Wi-Fi, for your technology. Fourth tip, I'm working outside. I have an office space. I turned my dinette into a home office, but I also set up, I'm in my catio, and true to the word, I've got a couple of cats in here. So, but this is, I have a little laptop tray, and so I use that to work outside. I mean, my Wi-Fi works outside the RV, so it's a perfect setup. It gives me two different main areas where I can work. It gives me a diversion. Plus, if the weather is, you know, okay, and I have a deadline or I've got to be doing something, it's really nice to feel like I'm still outdoors. So yeah, if you set up a workspace outside if you can. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is being flexible with your time. So I started on the East Coast. I'm now in Central Time. In another month or two, I'll be on Pacific Time. So certainly meetings that I had at 8 a.m. on the East Coast are not going to work for me very well when I'm on the West Coast. So hopefully you, again, have clients that you can reschedule your time based on the time zones. Now, 1 or 2 hours is not going to make a big difference, but yeah, that East Coast versus West Coast is a big difference. And also think about like when you're scheduling Zoom calls too. So it's hard to find a time that's going to please everyone, but you have to consider some folks are going to be in California, some in New York, and if it's global, anywhere. So you're going to have to be a little bit flexible with your time and think about the time zones as you're moving through them. That's tip number 5. The last tip I have, tip number 6, is schedule a day here and there where you're disconnected. Now, I've not done a very good job of that, I'll admit, you know, or I'll do a quick little YouTube video, but I'm very seldom disconnected. And it can be tiring to constantly be thinking about your work and then to be outside playing and still, you know, having to check your inbox and check your Facebook all the time. So try to, you know, maybe a day a week, a day every other week, whatever feels right to you, but schedule some time off when you're not online. It's, yeah, the first thing you do should not be to check in and check what's going on online. You know, take some time for yourself, have quiet mornings, and so that's it. So those are your 6 tips. Your first tip was, you know, sort of work on weekends or work on the times when everything is busy. You know, enjoy the times when it's not. Second, look at the weather. You know, if you can work during bad weather, do that. Your third tip is have a bunch of different sources for technology, especially Wi-Fi connection. Your fourth tip is work outside if you can. Your fifth tip is be flexible with your time, especially as you're moving from one time zone to another. And your sixth tip is take some time for yourself, take some time offline, okay? So that's it for today. I hope that you like these little tips, and please subscribe below. And if you're on the road, I hope to see you out there. Okay? Bye-bye.